So, once again, it's the backstage area of Kulturrampe in Krefeld. And we got Chris Appleton here again. Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm very fine. I'm sitting here again with you. 1 year ago, we did exactly the same thing. And here we are again. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity.
No problem.
And, well, 1 year ago, what happened in this year for Absolva?
A lot. Approximately, by the time we finish this year in Manchester, we will have done almost 100 shows. We've released a new single, which is the first single to be featured on our next album, which we release early next year. We've toured and toured and toured many countries, back to Germany, France, Netherlands, Belgium. Very happy that we could get back to Scandinavia. We actually did our first show in Norway, which we played Norway before, but never with Absolva.
Which town?
We did a very northern show. So it was north of the Arctic Circle. And it's one of two shows we did north of the Arctic Circle. And the first one was called Corona Festivalen in Sweden. And then the next one in Norway, which was Rockholm Festival in Harstad, which was 2 hours further north than Corona. And at the time of year, it was 24 hours daylight. So, before this interview began, we were talking about guilty pleasures, and one of you mentioned Aqua. When we played Corona Festivalen with Absolva, on the other stage the day before, headlining, was Aqua.
Ooh.
Along with many other Swedish Eurovision artists. It was like a multi-town festival. So we were kind of the British heavy metal representation at the festival, and then we had all Aqua and different kinds of singers, different styles, blues artists and everything. So, and then the Norwegian festival was actually their first year of the festival in a beautiful location overlooking the northern Norwegian coast. Our dressing room was a log cabin with a wood-burning fire outside, and it was just absolutely magnificent. And with Martin having Scottish blood, we did wonder, there was a lot of people in Norway that looked like Martin, and we're thinking maybe some of those guys that got onto the Norwegian boats and went over to Scotland, we thought, actually, Martin's, ancestors could have come from Norway, and he felt very at home there, didn't you, mate?
It was absolutely beautiful.
So that was Norway. We went back to Finland. We went back to Czech Republic. We went back to Italy, Spain. We're going back to Greece next month in November. We did lots of beautiful festivals in other parts of Europe. We went back to Ireland and Northern Ireland, which was a very big deal. We had great success because we kind of lost faith in the Irish when we went back to do some headline shows after the Iced Earth support shows. And back then it wasn't very well attended, so we kind of stopped going to Ireland. This time we went and every venue was full. Limerick, Belfast, Dublin, 2 shows in Cork, and we like to drink a lot of Guinness, so that was also very nice. So it's been a very busy year for festivals, headline shows. On January we did a great support tour with Ronnie Romero in Germany, which was a very good tour, but it was very cold in January.
Oh, yeah.
And so we set off from home the day after New Year's Day. That was the start of our touring year. And we did 12 shows, 11 in Germany, 1 in Belgium, opening up for Ronnie Romero, and that was just fantastic experience. Absolva and Ronnie Romero's band, we got on very, very well together. It was the first time I've ever been a special guest of a band, and I come off stage after doing a 45-minute show, and Ronnie comes up to me afterwards and says, "That was great, guys. If you want to do an extra 5 or 10 minutes tomorrow, it's okay by us. If the crowd wants it, play longer." That's the first time anybody, any headliner, has said to me, if you want to do an encore, you can. I was always taught, never do an encore if you're the special guest. Or if you're going to do an encore, make sure it's in your set time, you know. So that was great, you know. It was all very good fun. So that was a good start to the year. Yeah, it's been a very successful year of touring.
Yeah. So, between all this touring, where did you find time to record anything new?
I don't know, really. We're just completely insane. We've got about 16 new songs put together in demo form at the moment. And we were not going to do any singles or anything, but then Luke said, should we just maybe pick one song to do a music video and release before the end of the year in time for this tour, for the headline tour in Germany, Belgium, where else are we doing? France. So that's how Thrill of the Chase came. We thought, you know, we won't do a very heavy one. We'll kind of do like the hard rock, heavy metal one.
The melodic one.
Catchy. Well, more of a catchy kind of heavy stomper, proper headbanger. And it's worked very well. The response has been great. We've changed a few things on the production side of things, guitar sounds, drum sounds and everything. And when we've been in the studio, we've kind of done a different approach. Try not to think about things too much. We write the song, work on it, get the lyrics good, and then don't spend hours and hours and hours and hours mixing. Just get the drums up, get the bass in there, turn those guitars up, record the vocals, get it sounding nice. Right, done.
Like playing live.
Almost like playing live, yeah. I think sometimes you can spend too long, which we certainly have done in the past, and you end up going round in circles. You don't end up making anything better, and sometimes you don't make anything worse. You just end up wasting a lot of energy that you could be doing on something else. And, you know, we're not recording at Abbey Road. We're not recording at Sound City. You know, we're recording in Manchester with limited resources. And but what we have is really good. We like our production sound. We like the rawness and everything. And so, yeah, it's how we want it. And we just try not to, I wouldn't say waste time, but just using unnecessary time. So that's the way we're going. And we might release another single before the end of the year.
But this one will sound different?
This one will be a heavy one.
All right.
We've decided that. We've still not decided what song it is yet.
All right. Because what you said is kind of what I thought when I listened to this song. It was like, well, that's not the classic approach I'd expect from you. It's, well, very melodic and catchy. And I don't think you have done this very often before on the past records.
Yeah, I think we've touched on it. I mean, it's almost like, you know, every Saxon album, they always have an AC/DC sounding song on a Saxon album. And I'm a huge AC/DC fan, so, you know, I kind of looked at that approach. It's a little bit classic sing-along accept sounding in places. It's a little bit AC/DC sounding in places, but it's still got Manchester Absolva, written all over it with the swagger. So, yeah, we thought that was a good idea for the first single, and then the second single will go for a bit more heavy. So if this one was Never Back Down, the next one's going to be A Never Good Day to Die. That kind of level of heaviness.
All right. So the lyrics, what is this song about? What does it mean, the lyrics?
It's about us or me or whichever way you want it. And the thrill of the chase is basically, it's kind of, how do I explain this? You get more pleasure of the journey you make trying to achieve something rather than actually achieving it is the pleasure. So you think in your mind you always want to be a millionaire, but actually what you enjoy is working towards being a millionaire. Once you be a millionaire, you might find it quite boring, but the journey to get there is actually the fun bit.
Yeah.
So it kind of applies to us. We always talk about having 15 people crew for Absolva, and having a big tour bus of our own, and having a private jet, and playing in 10,000 capacity halls. And we talk about this, but even just talking about getting an extra few crew. We've always been our own crew. I do all the bookings for the shows. We release our own music. We record our own music. And somebody said to me, it says, "You'll never do it different." And I said, "Why?" "It's because you enjoy it too much." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He says, "You like being able to sort out the sound if the sound engineer in the venue isn't quite good. You like booking all your own shows because you can go to small places, you can go to big places, it's your choice, and you're not having to rely on a booking agent who takes 20% of all your money because you get the money because you book the shows." I said, "Oh yeah, so we actually play where we want, not where we have to." And then somebody said, "You'll never have a guitar technician because you'll never trust somebody enough to restring your guitar." I says, "Yeah, that's true." And I heard this before from Michael Schenker's guitar technician. No guitar technician that has worked for Michael Schenker has ever changed all of the strings on any of his guitars. If he breaks a string, that guitar goes to the guitar technician, passes another guitar, that guitar technician puts one string, only the broken string, back on. That's all he's allowed to do. Never replace the whole guitar strings. And I think that's kind of me. I have a way of doing things and I like it and I enjoy it. So that's, in a long-winded description, that's that is the thrill of the chase. So... And then the music video is just a bit of fun, really. It's me waking up drunk and chasing my way to the gig.
Does this happen very often? Waking up, being drunk and chasing to the gig?
Not really, no. I think that's the ironic thing, is because I'm never we're always together. We always travel together. And, I don't think, we're British and we're very, very British. So we're early for everything. If you say the interview... or the show, or like this place, Krefeld, arrive at 3:00. We arrive 2:30 every time, Whereas an Italian band will probably arrive at 3:30. That's just the way we are. That's just culture, Maybe delete that bit in case you offend any Italians.
It's your opinion.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
That's just the culture, because we have that at Italian gigs. What time are the doors? 7. What time on stage? 8. We get ready to go on stage at 8. Maybe 8:30, 9. I was like, oh God, here we go.
All right. So you've been on tour the whole year like this, and you did a lot of shows supporting Blaze Bayley, and you played like 45 minutes Absolva, 100 minutes Blaze Bayley, so 2.5 hours. Isn't this extremely exhausting doing it?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, when we're doing the shows with Blaze, we wouldn't even call it supporting. It's just kind of a package, you know, because a lot of people come to see Absolva, a lot of people come to see Blaze, and it works very well because it's all the same backline, it's all the same stage show, it's all the same sound, you know, there's no big changeovers. So we can do a longer show with Absolva. Some of the gigs we were doing 50 minutes to 60 minutes if there was no curfew. Some of the ones in Germany and Ireland, we had to do 40, 45 minutes. Then sometimes Blaze was only doing 90 minutes, but sometimes Blaze was doing 2 hours. But this is the last year we're going to do the Blaze Bayley Absolva package. We did one festival in Switzerland this summer. Beautiful festival, Man Ride Open Air. And the promoter, massive Absolva fan, big Blaze Bayley fan, and he said, I want double headliner.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, so what do you mean by that? He says, I want Absolva 8 o'clock for 90 minutes. He says, okay, so that's 8 till 9:30. He says, I'll give you 45-minute changeover. Then I want Blaze 10:15 for 2 hours. So that was 3.5 hours of playing. And that was okay, you know, but it's a lot easier for a guitarist and a bass player, and I don't have to sing the Blaze Bayley set. Blaze doesn't have to sing the Absolva set. But Martin has to drum heavy metal drums for 3.5 hours, and we're not Bruce Springsteen, and
yeah.
we don't have any particularly easy songs for, you know, for the type of band we are. You know, if we had a couple of Bruce Springsteen slow tempo songs, or a 30 minutes acoustic section, might be a bit easier. So we took the decision after that show, after this year, there's no more Blaze and Absolva package. I think we've got a few shows in Italy in February next year where we're going out together. That's just to make sure we don't have about 6 support bands on before Blaze, to be honest. We just say, right, free meet and greet before the show, Absolva, then Blaze Bayley, no supports, thank you.
Yeah. So, how long are you playing tonight?
2 hours.
2 hours? Well, it's a lot of music, because many artists do play like 90 minutes or even less.
Well, it just happened by accident. I mean, some of these shows, I mean, back in England, you know, if you play, you know, there's not many independent venues like this left back home. So when we come to Kulturrampe in Krefeld, and it's a small stage, but it's a nice hall, it's a, you know, I think he's increased his capacity here in Krefeld because they've removed the bar area that's in the live room, so he can fit an extra 30 people in with the regulations. But every time we play here, we have such a good sound and a very good attendance, and we're just like, well, the people say, no support band, but we want you to play a longer set. And to be honest, when we used to be a covers band, like 20, 25 years ago, we used to play 2.5 hours every night anyway. Okay, that was only Friday and Saturdays, but but if the people want it, and there's a couple here tonight, they saw us in Oldenburg, they saw us in Bochum and Hereford with Blaze also, but this week they came to Oldenburg, they came to last night in Neuenhaus, and then they're here tonight. And this is not nothing against the support band in Oldenburg, but because we had a support band, Absolva played 1 hour 40 minutes. And then last night, there was no support band, we played 2 hours and possibly another encore. And then the couple were like, this was amazing. It was much better than Oldenburg. So you can't win, because promoters sometimes want support bands. We like having a support band because you've got more people, you've got more of an evening. But then there's other very, very loyal Absolva fans. They just want more Absolva.
Yeah, sure.
So they want more music. So it's 2 hours or more. They would be quite happy.
Playing all 6 records in a row?
Yeah, it worked for, I don't know, someone must have been stupid enough to play the whole back catalogue in one evening.
You could do like a 2 days festival and play the first 3 records and then the next 3.
Well, yeah, we've actually picked up this evening or this afternoon our original guitar player, Tom Atkinson, who played guitar on Flames of Justice, and we picked him up because we've had a T-shirt emergency. After the first 2 shows in Belgium and Mannheim, we realised we were selling way too many T-shirts per show, and we'd probably run out by the time we get to Krefeld. So we booked a flight for Tom Atkinson, our original guitar player on Flames of Justice, booked him a flight from Manchester to Charleroi in Belgium. And this is a bit of a funny story, because I've got a friend in Dusseldorf who's actually French, who I met in America. And so when I was in Balingen, the promoter in Balingen says, "What are you doing on the phone so much, Chris?" I says, "It's a bit complicated." And he says, "Let me hear it." Okay, so I've got to speak to my French friend who lives in Dusseldorf. So I've got to speak to a French guy about driving to the airport to pick up an English guy from Belgium to drive him back to Germany to get the T-shirts. So I'll see a French guy to get the English guy from Belgium to get him to Germany. And then he's like, "Yeah, you're right." I says, "I don't really need to know this." So yeah, he's brought all the extra T-shirts. So that's very lucky, because there's a lot of fans here that need the new tour T-shirt, because on the back it has every single tour date that Absolva have played in 2024.
So there's a dragon on the front, I think.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for it? I don't think you ever had a dragon.
It's really cool. That's why.
Well.
Our artist, same artist who did Refuse to Die and Stand Your Ground, and what's the other one? I've forgotten now. He did it. He came up with the artwork, and I said I absolutely love that. And because it had more of a dragon kind of cathedral look, I thought this would actually suit one of our old songs from the first album, From Beyond the Light. And in the wake of change, from beyond the light, from the darkest place, with all your nerves hold tight, from the shadow realm and the beast within, where the bravery absolves all your sin. And I thought all those lyrics fit perfectly with that imagery, and it was from a very sort of medieval kind of background. So yeah, we had the new tour. Well, it's tour T-shirt, but dedicated to a very old song from the first album.
But it works. My wife bought one and said, "The dragon is on it."
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So one last question. Actually, it should have been the one to open this one. The name Absolva. What does this mean?
It means, actually, I've just said it in the lyrics, where the bravery absolves all your sin. So Absolva is actually in that line. So Absolva, it kind of comes from the Latin of absolution of sin. So I my interpretation of it is, if you come and buy a ticket to Absolva, come and see Absolva play live, we will absolve you of your sins, and you will leave feeling much better about yourself, and you will feel happy.
That's a good explanation.
Yeah.
Do you know the band Powerwolf?
Powerwolf, yeah, they're playing the same night we're playing Danger in Antwerp. Yeah, we played a gig with Powerwolf, haven't we, Martin?
Powerwolf.
I remember meeting one of them.
Yes.
I think we were pretty drunk. Well,
I can't remember which festival.
yeah. Why do you ask that?
Because they used to do this thing you were talking about.
Oh, great.
On their last song, which was entitled Lupus Dei.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought you were going to say, oh, yeah, this is they said something really horrible about us or something.
No way.
That band Powerwolf there, they says, oh, yeah, they said those bloody Absolva guys from Manchester, they're all a bunch of idiots.
No, I don't think.
No, they probably never heard of us. The singer from Mob Rules came to see us in Oldenburg, and I said, oh, great gig, and he bought a vinyl and a T-shirt. And I said to Luke, I says, I know that guy. And he says, oh yeah, it's the singer from Mob Rules. I says, we played a festival with Mob Rules in Germany, and it's Music from the Beast festival. And then we were hanging out, having beers. I says, yeah, I thought I recognised him. Well, he didn't seem to recognise me, and we were talking for about 2 hours at the after-show bar. So, these things happen. You meet a lot of people on the road, and I'm sure they meet a lot of people as well. Well, probably not as annoying as us. But
Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah, you better terminate this interview before it gets out of hand.
Could it get out of hand?
Oh, yeah.
Anyone getting naked or something like this?
Naked? Oh, Jesus. That's... Maybe Luke.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, hello, Cal.
On stage, Luke is getting naked tonight.
Possibly. Who knows?
What do you think about it? Luke is getting naked tonight?
Definitely. Luke always gets naked at our shows.
That's out at hand, that's out at hand. Sometimes after the show, Marcus, we go out for a curry. That's how out at hand things can get.
All right, I agree. We should stop this right now.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Definitely. Luke always gets naked at our shows.